In this video, we're going to cover how we turned our detached two-car garage into the garage of our dreams. We're also going to go over why we needed this extra space and how much this entire project ended up costing us. In this video, we're going to go over our detached garage addition. As you can see here, we were running out of space and needed more indoor parking, so we didn't have as many things parked outside. We're going to go over the reasons why we decided to go with this type of build. We're also going to talk about how much the entire project costs from start to finish. If you're new to the channel and don't know who we are, we're an off-road family from Western Colorado. We're a family who enjoys spending our free time exploring the amazing areas of Western Colorado and the Western states. Be sure to follow along for the amazing adventures.
All right, well, looks like we're ready to move forward with the shop, so I think we just need to get this pergola out of here, say goodbye to my garden area, and maybe we'll probably just start with moving all of the stuff we're keeping, like the tires and the kayaks and all that, out of this area, and then make a pile of stuff that we gotta burn or take to the dump or whatever we're gonna do with it.
We've got
Just get the stuff cleared out.
We've got a lot of junk back here.
It's not all junk, and it's my garden.
So
somebody's gonna owe me a garden.
We're gonna relocate it. It's just gonna be relocated. So we're gonna take this all down because we want to save it. So we'll start disassembling it. We've got to get these posts out of the ground, start pulling those up, disassembling all this, setting it over there, and then getting this space cleared. We also got the chickens we got to deal with because we still have to have the chicken yard fenced.
Yeah, we need to get a temporary fence going for the chickens to fence them out of the construction.
Because we're not sure at this time, but there will be guys coming to start working on the concrete pad, and we got to keep the chickens out of that area.
Yeah.
And clean all this up. So that's we also got a couple bushes there we got to remove too, huh?
Yeah, those are the chickens' favorite bushes. The chickens are going to be sad. That's like their home.
They're in there right now. Let's go get a picture. This is literally the chickens' habitat down in here. And these two big bushes got to go, so I'll have to start cutting all those out. We're also thinking about graveling everything back here for more parking. And that's got to go. The shed will stay, and then these bushes got to go, and then all this has to be prepped. These got some chicken treats.
Hey, chickies. Oh, Nutty.
There they all come out of the bushes, so it's their favorite place. It'll be kind of sad for them. Another thing that has to go is this nice tree right here. It's got some rot down at the bottom of it, so it's not like a perfect tree. But yeah, we're gonna have to cut that out of there too, because that's where we're gonna have our overhang off the shop. It's gonna come down for more parking.
So you want to see my new trick?
Yeah, let's see it.
How to get these out in reverse?
How to get a T-post out without an actual T-post puller?
Well, I am using a T-post puller.
Well, that's a T-post pounder.
Pounder?
Look at that.
Ta-da!
Ta-da.
Look at that, huh?
Wow.
I impressed myself today.
Yeah, it's a whole lot easier than just sitting there and wiggling it. Almost. You're just about there. That should pretty well do it.
There it is. Got them all out.
Work smart, not hard. We ended up purchasing our metal building from one contractor who also suggested who we could use for our concrete and excavation. So the first thing we had to do was get our backyard ready and get everything cleared out, so when these guys showed up, they had room to start working. Luckily, this was a low snow year.
All their bushes.
Where'd all of our yard go, girls?
Huh?
Where did it all go?
This.
Surprisingly, we didn't have any snow on the ground in January, which made it a lot easier for these contractors to start digging for the foundation. They didn't have to move any snow. They did end up covering the ground up with some tarps to help keep the ground warm. All right, there's the start of the foundation for the new garage. Today is Sunday, February 16th, so just wanted to provide an update on where we're at with our shop build. Now, this is exciting. We were just out of town for 10 days, and while we were out of town, the contractors were here pouring the concrete. And so connected to our building here, we now have this nice big old piece of concrete. Now we can start to see what this is going to look like. It's exciting seeing it all come together. This is where the RV will pull through. This is going to be just static storage. And then we have our overhang there with the concrete pylons. The building will end right there. Then this is going to be basically kind of like that shed. And it will, I wouldn't call it a breezeway because it's going to attach to our main building. That's not a breezeway, but it's just connects the two buildings. So that's a 10 by 12 space that we're thinking of maybe putting a kitchenette in there. We've got some extra cabinets and a fridge and stuff we might use there. But anyway, it's exciting to start seeing this come together. And tomorrow they're going to show up and start putting together the building. They believe they'll have the building all put together in less than 2 weeks. So once again, I'll try to document the process as we go. So it is day 2 that they've been working on our new building. They've gotten a tremendous amount of work done already. Pretty amazed. So let's go outside and take a look. These guys are moving fast. Here, starting to get an idea on how tall the walls are going to be. Man, we got the man door over here. We've got the dogs are barking like crazy outside, but here we go and get an idea. They've got the walls up today. This has that, we got that thinner insulation, but yeah, this is really starting to look like something. With the walls on here really puts it into perspective. Motorhome will pull straight in here and can back out there. We can hook to a trailer right here and pull it right through, head on out. So all this back here will be storage. And over here is the lean-to. Wow. Once you see it in person, definitely looks like more storage, I guess, than I had realized. So that's pretty cool. We'll be able to, we could park a full trailer under here, park Jeeps, park any of that. Got a little stump there we got to remove.
Gonna use that dirt to backfill on these sides and fill all this in with gravel. But yeah, pretty cool watching it come together. This is gonna be super cool when we can use this space. Pretty excited about it. Motorhome will park here, the boat over there, and other room just park other stuff as well. Yeah, the other nice thing is how tall these walls are. We may put a mezzanine up over there at some point. We haven't decided yet. Pretty cool seeing it all come together.
These guys brought in a big crew and they put this building up in what I thought was record time. I couldn't believe how fast it was going up. We had neighbors that were just out of town for a couple days and came home and couldn't believe that that building was already up. Some of them weren't so thrilled that the building was up, but most of them were. We had such a mess going on. There was literally stuff spread out all over our yard. You can see tires and Jeep hardtops and parts and all this stuff. I couldn't wait to get this thing finished so we could start putting stuff out of people's sight.
All right, it is a beautiful morning here, and we got two big ol' massive dump truck loads of gravel. We rented a skid steer, and what we need to do is spread all this out. We're going to put most of this back behind this shop so that we have more parking for our trailers and stuff. So you can see there we got the new garage door installed. So we got garage doors on there. After we do this gravel, then we got to start installing lights, and we got to start framing up a breezeway. So let's go take a look. We have to fill all that in so we can drive up in here. We've got a few things stored in here right now. Seeing how much room we got. Got some of our dirt toys just stored in here so we can get stuff out of the way. Yeah, I can't wait to get some lights and stuff installed in here, and then we can start framing it in and making this all one big building. But the garage doors open pretty easy. For being that big, I can just one arm it, just pull them right up. So we are going to have to put weed cloth down on all of this and this as well. But first we're going to backfill all this with the dirt pile that we've got sitting right there. We'll backfill all this with that dirt pile, put weed cloth over it. Then we can start to put down our gravel. And we'll put gravel over all this and have a nice big parking area. And I won't have to cut this grass anymore. We'll just have that as grass over there. For the chickens. All right, we are making some pretty good progress here, laying down the weed cloth, and then we're laying down this weed cloth, putting the gravel. We just got a whole bunch of road base to cover all this with. To pack it in, we got under the overhang pretty well done. We still got to do the edging and all that, but just kind of final grade it. For the most part, we've got it all there. You can kind of get an idea the size of that with the Jeep in there. And our dogs doing what they do, barking at everything. So the skid steer's working great. We're working through this gravel. And we may have bought too much gravel. I don't know. I might have went a little crazy on the gravel. What do you think, lads? Think we bought too much gravel?
You can never have too much gravel, right?
We'll use it for something. Oh, these dogs. We might finish this privacy fence as well later. I don't know. Figure it out. But so far, this is where we're at.
I'm definitely no equipment operator. I don't get to do it very often. But when I do get to do it, that doesn't mean that I can't have fun. We used the skid steer to haul all the gravel from the front area through the shop to the back area. It ended up working out pretty well, and we used some pieces of wood at the front where you drive into the shop so we didn't tear up the concrete. Overall, it worked out pretty well and the concrete didn't get damaged.
We've got the back area graded pretty well, and now is the first time to try to pull the motorhome in here, so we'll see how it fits.
The first time backing this in there, I was being extra cautious because we still had the gutters on the old building and those stuck out a little bit farther. I wanted to make sure not to scrape anything on the side.
Like a glove, just like we imagined. So always you know, you take all your measurements and it's like it should fit, but you never really know. But it'll be a lot easier to maintain this thing in here. I got a bunch of work I got to do to it, so that's exciting. We'll see how it looks from back here. Guppy goo. Like I said, like a glove. Yeah. How about that?
That truck don't look so big anymore.
I know, sure filled it up pretty quick, huh?
Sure packed it in.
Look at that. You got a little room up here, got a little room over there. So, this isn't how everything's gonna sit in the long run, but yeah, that's exciting, huh? First time in its new home. We got some nice new lights to put up there. That'll be the next step, huh?
Yeah.
Here is behind the garage. We've got our 30-foot trailer. Got the chickens. A lot of this stuff will all be able to be moved there. We've got a little Jeep parked over there. We got Smokey is coming to say hi. Smokey likes this new area, huh? Huh? I don't have any treats. I don't have any treats. Yeah. So, who? I don't know. So, yeah. We got to clean up all this. We got this old pergola. We're going to put it back up in this corner. Make a nice little garden area there. And starting to come together. This is kind of how we envisioned it. Well, today's project is we need to put some lights up in this shop. It gets pretty dark in here at night. We still have yet to build our little addition over there, but got this little pellet heater keeping me warm in here. But our next project is going to be to get some lights up in here. And so what I'm planning on doing, I'm just using this MC cable to right here, just flexible armored cable. And we ordered from Amazon, we've got these LED lights right up there. I've got one hanging there. And what we're gonna do, we're gonna hang those lights from the roof. We just bought some simple threaded hooks. We're going to hang those lights off those threaded hooks. And then I've got electrical boxes that are gonna be at each one. And then I'm just running the MC cable along. And then I'm going to run it down to the wall over here where I'm going to put a light switch. And the reason for that is when we walk in here, we'll have a light switch just right there. And what I'm going to do is each side will be on a separate light switch. So one side of the shop's on one side of the shop's on the other. But for now, what I want to do is just get them down to a box
that we can just temporarily plug in with an extension cord so that we have some lights in here. Otherwise, like I said, it gets pretty dark in here at night, and just even walking through can be pretty difficult. I've got one of the lights we're going to be using just plugged into an extension cord. And there's a little smoke in the air from the little pellet stove I'm using. But you can see here, this is what we're doing for these lights. And then I've got this armored cable running up along here. It's all protected. I have to support that a little bit more. Get that up above. I'll have to pull the motorhome forward so I can get that above. I need to put some covers on these receptacles on the junction boxes. And yeah, that's what we're doing, running this, and then we're gonna run it down over there where I will put some light switches. So yeah, I'll be able to just plug in these lights for the time being to an extension cord. I'm just gonna put a little pigtail coming off there. I can just plug into an extension cord, and then we can light up this whole half of the shop. So you can get an idea how bright these lights are. One light right there is lighting up the shop pretty good. And I'm gonna have 6 of these in there, so we'll see how they look. All right, so from down here, you can see just the one light. That's just one light that I'm gonna be using up there. It's kind of laying on the top of the motorhome. Kind of see how bright that's gonna be. And I've got 6 of these. So the way I thought about this is, if I've got 3 sections right there and 6 lights, I will just mount each light halfway down each section. So if each one of these is about a 16-foot gap, I just did mounted the light at about 8 foot in between each of those beams. So hopefully it should be pretty even. What we're doing now, because this is going to be a room, this is where you're gonna walk in, have a switch right there. I've got the other end of this armored cable just right here, and I'm just gonna put it in there for right now, wire a pigtail until I can get power to this permanently, because we still gotta frame all that up. And then once I do that, then I'll just be able to run its own dedicated circuit from the breaker board all the way right in here. So until then, we'll just be working off of an extension cord, so no big deal. Temporary. So we still got to frame all that in. Then what I'll be able to do is at least have some lights in here. And then the next step, once I get these lights working, I got to buy some covers to put on all the boxes, tighten all those up, make sure it's all good. Then we'll move the motorhome over here, and then I will do these other ones. But it's been a pretty fun project. And then I would still like to put a light out on the overhang out there. It's pretty dark out there. It'd be nice to have some form of light out there. We'll see what we come up with. All right, so now we're gonna see if these new lights work. I got half of them done. What I'm gonna do is unplug this temporary light and plug in the big ones. We'll see if we did this right. They're not, it's funny when you get lights like this and I hardwired them instead of putting them into a receptacle and having to buy a receptacle for everything up there. It didn't really make sense, so I cut them off and then looked at the wires, and they're not wired like green ground, white, neutral, and black hot. They're wired in completely different colors. So yeah, so I had to ohm them out to figure out what each one goes to. So we'll see right here if we got this right. Hopefully this works. We'll find out real quick. All right, there we go. Look at that. We got it right. We got it right. We got a whole lot of light in here. Look at that. I like that. Now, we're also going to do another line down here, so it will be eventually twice as bright in here. So super cool. A little smoky in here, a little haze from my little pellet stove. But yeah, that's exciting. We definitely needed some light in here, so next one, probably not tonight. It's getting a little late. We'll run down this side. All right, we've got this side wired up here, working on getting these lights. But you can see just this row of lights right here really lights us up nicely. 50-foot garage don't seem so long anymore with this thing in there. We made the trip to Home Depot this week to pick up a whole bunch of supplies. We got Quikrete there for the shed, and we've got all this lumber to start building to connect these two buildings. We also scored a pretty sweet Craigslist find, a little wood stove to go in this shop. We didn't need anything too huge. These shops will both be connected, and they both have wood stoves. More than likely be working in one or the other. So anyway, yeah, we're making some progress. We'll take a look at this shed. So we're starting to get this yard figured back out for the chickens. Got a little junkyard going on. Let's see what this the before of the shed. So we didn't want to get rid of this shed, so we had to slide it over on the existing pad. And now we're gonna fill this with concrete so that the shed is fully sitting on concrete again. It was what we had to do to get the size of the shop that we wanted. And then we'll eventually make this shed all... We'll put a metal roof on the shed and stuff too, and metal side it so it matches and all painted to match. So it's a little complex back here, but it's coming together. So we are finally at the place where we can start connecting these two buildings. And this is really exciting because that means all of this will be coming together. So what we'll be able to do, we're going to take that out. Eventually, right now we're going to frame a wall here, frame a wall there, and connect them. Our goal is ultimately we're going to be able to drive things all the way through. So this will be like around 100-foot long building when it's all said and done. We'll be able to drive things from that end all the way down through there. And this will be perfect because our goal was always down at this end. Down here would always just be more storage, you know, for the camper and boat and stuff like that. And the other side will be more of like a working shop where we're doing like our welding and grinding and all that sort of stuff. So the goal would be this end will be the cleaner end, the nicer end, and that down there will be the more working end. So what we need to do, frame these up. We submitted a plan to the county that we're following, how we're going to make these come together. I think it'll be nice once it's said and done. It gives us that extra room. We'll see how we want to use it. We're not 100% sure yet. But I do know I want to drive things through there. That'll be important. So I've begun taking off the siding. We're going to keep stripping off all the siding and all that stuff. We'll leave the door and window in there for now. And then we're going to get it all inspected, and then we'll just finish it off how we wanted to. So we'll have to take off the gutters. We're going to have to blend the shingles together up there. So there's going to be a lot of things we're going to have to learn through this. Another kind of challenge is going to be mounting a framed wall up to these existing metal, and what we're going to have to do for that. So stuff we haven't done before. I mean, siding, stuff like that we've done before. Framing up basic walls, stuff like that we've done. But in this case, this sort of thing we haven't really done before. So you're always learning something new.
Of course.
We began removing the siding and the sheathing off the old building, while at the same time we started building the new walls.
Here's our second wall. We'll have a door right there. Look at Lydia work that hammer. She's a pro.
Emily asked if she could help, so with all three of us it made it a lot easier to move that wall in place. It doesn't look like much wood, but it's a lot heavier than you think it would be.
Alright, we got this wall up and that wall up.
Hey, it's not all here all the way in.
We gotta try and secure it.
Is that tight? That's tight. Don't strip it out. Now
This
get
is
the other
the
one.
first truss. Working on that first truss. And we got
You have to push. Not here.
the wall up.
More.
Got this wall up.
Here. You only want
First
to
truss
push
will go right here. We had to make this first truss right here, and that was kind of difficult because we had to match the existing roof line. Where on this side it matches the existing roof, and then over here it comes down to a valley. We had to try to get all that just right. It took us 2 times to try to get this, try to get it right where we had to pull it back down. It's pretty heavy to get up there. Not too bad, but we finally got it. Then we had to also build the trusses up on the roof. It kind of slopes down and meets together up there. We got our walls done. Walls are done, and right here, well, we've got all of our stuff to make the final trusses. So we've got them all cut now that we got our sizes from up there. So we're making our own little truss assembly line right here. We're going to build the rest of them, put them all up there, and line them up. We got to do 1, 2, 3, 4 more. The last one will be up against this building. Then maybe we can get a roof on this. We can get the sides closed in, take that door, put it there, and then we're gonna buy a sliding glass door for over here. Then we can finally keep the wind and stuff from blowing through here. But we'll still have to roof it at that point. We'll still have to peel up the shingles up there and try to match all the roofing shingles and all that stuff. That'll be fun. Roofing's not my favorite thing to do, but we'll make it work. We're just gonna do shingles on this portion. And then these two will finally be one building. All right, so the current date is April 12th. We've been chipping away on this. We've got our trusses built, and we got our trusses up there. We've got our walls built. We're going to be putting a nice sliding glass door in right here. We wanted lots of light, natural light to come in the shop. We've got this man door is going to come out. It's going to go in right there. And then we're going to have to sheathe this and roof, match the roofing shingles and stuff up there. And then side this and sheathe it and side it. So what I'm doing now is we get our trusses up there and we're putting in the hurricane straps. Make sure that they're all strapped down good and tight, and making some progress. This has been taking us a lot longer than it should because we don't have much time these days. For example, the kids are in volleyball and basketball, so it's a lot of days a week running them to all this different stuff. So today, for example, we are running to Grand Junction for basketball games all afternoon. So we only have 3 hours in the morning to get these trusses kind of set up and screwed down so that they're in place. And then so when we have a few extra hours one of these days, we can come start sheathing it. And it's just trying to use whatever little tiny bits of time we have to do this stuff is what we've been working with. Just super busy. We've had family in town visiting us, kids, sports, all that, just regular life stuff. And we haven't had any time for our off-road stuff, but we'll get to that someday. What we have to do is just focus on all this now, and it'll pay off in the long run. So just gonna keep chipping away on getting all this up, and it's exciting to see it come together. After we get this all up and all that, we're gonna take out that wall right there, and we're gonna make this so we can drive stuff between the two buildings. It's gonna be super cool. It'll be a ton of space. We can use as a walkway, we can park stuff there. It just gives us that much more room. We are making some progress here, getting our sheathing up. We're gonna have to match this roof line across here, and then the other side's gonna have a valley. So we had to cut the ends of our trusses off. Still overhangs just a few inches into this door, but the motorhome clears it no problem. So it's not a big issue, but we're definitely making some progress. We are cruising now. Got the sheathing up on the roof. Now we're starting to put it over here so that we can get this area enclosed. We're making some good progress. Lydia's over there cutting.
Lydia had this idea to use this big glass door to let lots of light in rather than a conventional door and a window, and I think it turned out great.
New glass door, what do you think?
New helper. But
Look
you
at
have to install it.
Look at our new door installer right there. We got Roxy and Emily.
Good job, Ems. Looking really good.
Yeah, I like it a lot.
What you doing, Ems?
I'm screwing this in.
You're installing the door? Good job.
Getting the sheathing on this side, then we'll have to cut that door out. Starting to look like something. It's gonna be so nice to get all this done, not have the wind blowing all the dirt and everything in there, and just getting these buildings connected. And be able to lock up our stuff. Like, all this stuff's been open, but I mean, everything's behind a closed fence, so it's not like people are really messing with our stuff, but it's nice to get it all closed up. Come, Buppy. What do you think, Ems?
It's nice.
You like it? You like putting this all together?
Yeah.
You can help put this door in? All right. We are getting this door all shimmed up. So we took this door from right here.
My shim fell out.
Oh.
Undo. Take them out.
We took the door from right here and we're now putting it right there. So it goes to the outside now that this is inside. So it's all coming together. So today is April 19th and I've got one of those rare things they call a day off. Usually every Saturday for like all winter long, we've either had kids sports or something else going on. And now today I have a day just to work on this and try to get the roof on this shop addition. We even went to Grand Junction yesterday to go up and buy matching shingles. And we found some shingles that look closest to the ones we have. And then spring in Colorado hit. And I wake up this morning to, see this. It's ice and snow. Not only not ideal conditions to be roofing in, also it just can't seem to catch a break. The leaves and flowers and everything were already budded, but this happens literally every single year. And sometimes, usually after Mother's Day even. So this might not be the last snow we get, but just never fails. Every single time that I have some time off to do this sort of thing, here we go. So I probably won't be getting the roofing done today, but maybe if I clean with a broom, sweep that off, try to heat up in here and let it dry out today, this should stop. Hopefully, maybe tomorrow we can get some roofing done. But maybe today I can work on the siding and filling in some of this other stuff. So I'm not going to kill myself up on a roof today and also encapsulate wet wood. So yeah, it's spring in Colorado. This is the way it goes. So it is the last weekend in April. We are making some good progress. I tried to wash the floor out in here yesterday and got the motorhome in here. Got the truck parked over here so that I could do some oil changes, do some work and stuff on the truck. Get that ready for summer. The boat's back over there. And then it still gives us enough room down the side to park some stuff if we wanted to. Our little addition, we got it fully roofed this week. You can see up there, we got the shingles all on. We are not pro roofers, probably not the best job, but I think it'll, I messed around with some shingles and stuff in the past. I think it won't leak until we can go back and put metal on all of it. I want to remove all the gutters around here because the gutters were terrible. They're really poorly done. They leak like crazy. I think they cause more water damage than they prevent. Then we gotta paint everything. But once we get it all painted, then that'll be finished. So from this side, same thing. From a distance, we got the closest looking shingle color we could find where we blended them in. It's not perfect, but it's okay. Got it all tied into the building. And got our siding done. So now we just got to paint everything so it matches this building. Once we get our final inspection done for this, we'll take this wall out and open this all up. And yeah, then I'll finish running my branch circuits for electrical, get all my electrical circuits ran here on my receptacles. Then I'm also going to put in switches and stuff for outside lighting and get all that stuff done. So yeah, that's exciting seeing it all come together. So just got to keep moving forward. One of our big problems so far is that when we cut in for the
For the foundation, we cut through some of the irrigation lines, so right now I'm having to dig holes in all the dirt to fix those. And it's hot for the end of April, and things are drying up quick, so I need to get this irrigation going because our plants and yard really need it. The grass is going to get super dry if we don't get this on. So right down here, this is pure rock digging, and you can see it's just like digging through pure rocks, and it's very tedious. But I've got to cap this one line down here so I can get the entire system charged back up. So yesterday we got the metal roof up on our storage building, which is good. We are reusing extra sheet metal that was from this project, so we just put it up there. That just had old asphalt, tar paper type roofing, so I was a little short on some areas, but we made it work. We used up most of that siding, which is nice. We also had a leak right there from when in the irrigation system. When we installed this foundation, we had to cut through some of the irrigation system, so I've gotten that all straightened out as well, so we get our irrigation system back online. I'm trying to find a use for these timbers that we had. I'm probably going to use them as edging so that we can keep all this gravel from going down into the grass. And we'll run this all the way around. I'm going to get some rebar and just take a drill bit, pound them in there, keep them there. Then what we're going to do, just getting this backyard cleaned up. I want to get this pergola, what's left of a pergola. We'll reinstall that back here and get this area cleaned up. So yeah. So Lydia is using stain and staining the bottoms of all these bricks so that we can, when we paint all this, we don't have that red down there, red bricks with the blue. Well, it's gray type color. So that's what we're doing there. That's all going to be, these bottom bricks and concrete's all going to be stained a darker color. So we think it'll look better with the gray. And getting all that done. Another thing we've been doing is trying to reorganize this shop in here. This is our main shop area, and I had a lot of clutter over here. Had motors and a bearing press and all this stuff along this wall, and you couldn't walk over there anymore. And this whole area is just cluttered. I could barely do anything in here anymore. So what we're doing is trying to move what we can over into the new shop so that we have more room in here. And it's just been such a mess, and I'm just trying to figure out how to start fresh and reorganize everything, because it's been a battle. But the goal is for this building over here is just more storage, and obviously we'll do oil changes, stuff like that in there, but this is more of like the welding and grinding area. So yeah, that's where we're at with all this.
Now it's time to take out that pesky wall that's been blocking the two shops. Once we remove that, it's going to be nice and open so we can drive vehicles between the two.
Alright, so one thing we were worried about was when we cut this wall, that it was going to have a lot of tension behind it where we're going to put this header. This one has a little bit, but it's not much. I mean, look at the rest of this. I can just go like that. So we're going to knock the rest of this out, get the headers cut so we can put them up there, and then we'll do this double stud underneath both sides to hold it up.
We bought a couple big old 2x12s to span the distance where the wall used to be. This will help support the old roof. Alright, so little update here. It is Memorial Day weekend and we are once again working on the garage. So our goal this weekend, I want to wrap up the outside. I want to get it all done. So what we started doing is it's Friday evening, a Memorial weekend. I took off the whole next week. I want to wrap this up. I also have a big off-road trip coming up I have to get ready for. So what I want to do, let's get this all painted, let's get this all clean, let's get this all matching the rest of the shop. So we got our shed here, we got our little cubby right here, and what we want to do is make it all look like this and match that shop. So we started painting. We ran out 1 gallon just to see how far it would go. We need to get like another 5 gallons and then paint all this. I need to take these gutters down. Whoever put these gutters on did a terrible job because they always leaked like crazy. Like they didn't really, just more water leaked out of them than they actually funneled. So we're just getting rid of the gutters altogether. We are in the desert, it doesn't rain that much. So we're gonna get rid of all that. We're gonna paint everything and try to get this looking as good as we can so we can finish this up, the outside at least. Hey, like the new color, Liz?
I love it.
You love it?
Yeah,
It's definitely freshening things up a bit, huh?
we're escaping the 90s.
Yeah. Got those ugly broken gutters off there. Definitely coming together. Alright, so we got this whole side done right here. Moving up over here, I just got to finish that little part. We're making some really good progress. Painting can be really tedious and really time consuming, but if we all pitch in, we can definitely cut down on the amount of time this takes. On the other hand, painting is super gratifying because it really puts that finishing touch on everything and makes it look so much better.
Looks really good, doesn't it?
It sure does. I love that black. Looks awesome. Is it worth 2.5 days of straight painting?
Not just on the door.
2.5 days. I'm exhausted. I'm sore. I'm tired. We painted all this around this entire shop. All of these doors. Each of the doors. Then we also painted these front garage doors in the front of the shop. We're gonna replace those light fixtures with something a little bit more modern.
Yeah. Don't ask me what they look like.
Lydia is not a fan of those. Hell, we also painted the side door and the front door on the garage door in the house. Look at that real quick. And then go around the rest of it. We're gonna finish painting the rest of this house this summer, but yeah. And the front door around the side. Looks pretty good, but you can see we started updating the light fixtures and painted behind them. And we just got to, but I really do like the colors. Looks so much better. What's that? Yep, oh, in the shed. Let's go down this side here. Look at that, we got another light fixture that we're gonna replace with the black one.
So we got this. We still have some old window tape on the inside of that door we got to peel off, but you can see the door. Then we come back around over here. We got our little cubby area. That looks good. Back into the chicken yard, we've got the shed here. The shed's looking really good. Black doors, got that all painted all the way around over here, and really happy with how this all turned out. So just trying to make it all match. Oh, one last thing, the chicken coop. That really soaked up the paint. That was in dire need of some fresh paint. But here we are, Memorial Day weekend. We got it all painted. Now, you ready to start the house? You are?
Yeah, I want my house to look better.
Well, we'll be starting the house soon. We still also have to finish the inside of the shop. All right, so it's still Memorial Day weekend. Getting the rock crawler out, taking a break from all the work we've been doing on this shop. I was trying to fix lighting and got an issue with that light. Crawling up in that ceiling, getting super hot, trying to get everything fixed, but I've got to take a break from all my projects and get the motorhome ready because we've got a 4-day off-road trip coming up, and this is one of the reasons we built this whole shop. It's for this thing, to make these sorts of things easier. We are going to put a fridge in here eventually, that way we can just like ketchup, mustard, all those sorts of things that you have to carry back and forth between the house. You can just unload in here. So you got the motorhome. What I'll do is demonstrate kind of how we're doing this. So open the back gate up. I'll open the back door up. We can back to the trailer, hook the trailer up, pull it forward, and then I can load everything and just kind of demonstrate how we plan on using this. Still kind of a mess in here. I had to work late last night changing out a control arm, lower control arm on the side-by-side so we can use it too, because still don't have this other rock crawler fixed. We've just been so busy. I just can't get it all done, but someday I'll get caught up on everything. Stuff's still kind of a mess right now. I don't have everything the way I want it, but we'll get there. Another big reason that we wanted to have this space was to help keep this RV out of the weather. This RV is one of the biggest investments we've ever made, but at the same time, we need to take care of it. And having it sit out in the sun where the rain pools up on the top and the seals start getting tore down by the sun and the UV light and all that sort of stuff, and the sun's hard on the tires. Like in Colorado, the sun's one of the hardest things on equipment that sits outside. It fades it, it breaks it down. And so keeping it in here is just gonna make all of this last that much longer. It also makes it so much easier to load and unload when we're going on a trip, because you can just do it all in here. So if we're going on a trip in the winter, we can load everything in here, have everything ready to go, fill it with water, and then just drive right out the door. One more thing I did get done that's kind of cool is I got my receptacle, got a receptacle put in on this side of the shop so that I can at least charge, keep the camper plugged in, keep the batteries topped off and all that while it's sitting in here. I don't want to run extension cords and stuff like that, so I got receptacles all down this side. Got those all done. We got the lights on a switch now, and it's all those little tiny things that take so much time. They're little victories that we start making some progress, and all those little parts, nickel and dime you to death, all that stuff adds up. Romex is expensive, armored cable's expensive. But a lot of this stuff, the armored cable, this is just a flexible cord coming from this little stoplight. We wired that up too. Just a little feature, but anyway, I ran this all in flexible armored cable, so it's all protected. A lot of it's just running up in those beams, and it's very well protected, and a lot of them are inside the beams, so we're making some progress there as well, just one day at a time. All right, so
Got the garage door open. What we're gonna do, start this thing up, let it build air pressure and all that. Then we'll back up to our other trailer and show you all how this works. That is why we built this. We can park the trailer right back there. Got the chickens going for a little adventure. And we can pull the motor home right through there. So sure makes it convenient for loading and unloading for these big trips. What's that, Smokey? What's that? What I like about this setup is it makes loading and unloading our trailer right into our shop so much easier. You can just drop the gate and go right in there. We didn't have the room to do that before when we were parking in front of the other garage. We have plenty of room to maneuver everything around. It's just really convenient. Now that we got the main structure up, we still have a lot of work to do. We have to finish this little breezeway area and get that all finished up. We're still working on electrical and we're trying to get everything organized, but that's going to be part of our long-term goals. The big thing was getting the exterior done, getting it painted, all that sort of stuff, so we could get that checked off the list. Now we can work on this other stuff as we have time. And maybe someday I can get back to these other off-road projects that I have that I never got finished, that I set aside to try to get this shop done. But it's going to pay off in the long run because we have so much more room. You can see here just how much more room we got. Got this rock crawler sitting behind me, side by side, another side by side, a Jeep and a boat all the way down to the end of the shop. It is so much more room than we had before. I'm thrilled with how this project turned out, and I'm really excited to be able to utilize this in the future. It's already making our life so much easier. So in the future, I have a feeling we'll end up enclosing this entire overhang out here. Thinking maybe next winter. All we gotta do is get some sheet metal and some lateral pieces to enclose this. But this would add a great amount of space to the shop, and it wouldn't be that much work. So I think that's something we're going to aim for maybe next winter, and this would be a whole lot more storage space. We spend a lot of time in our garage and we do all of our own mechanical work. So even though this garage isn't finished yet, well, we still have to keep maintaining our vehicles. So having this extra space and having all this extra room right here makes these projects so much more tolerable. I didn't exactly want to take apart this Jeep right now, but sometimes things just happen and you have to deal with it. So it's so nice just having this space. You can hear it raining outside and all that sort of stuff. And then you have this awesome workspace to work in, nice and clean, and room to spread everything out. Here's another nice thing about this shop is when we get back from a trip, I can just drain all the water, just the fresh water and stuff, all right here in the rocks. We do have an RV, the septic dump right there, and oh, there's a chicken. Then we also have, I just have to run a hose from there to there, and then I can drain everything out and it all goes into our septic. This house has an extra big septic on it. And it was nice because they always had an RV plug, a higher amperage RV plug, just right there that you could plug the RV into. Because it was originally designed to have a trailer RV parking spot right there. So you had the RV drain and RV plug. Now what we really did was change that so that we can just pull in here. So I drain out the fresh water, drain the black and gray water tanks, put our trailer right back there. It's easy to get stuff in and out. And I just power washed it all off. We have a power washer that is built into the shop here. I can power wash it all off, back it in here, and put it all away as quick and easy as you possibly can. All right, so after we get home from our off-roading trip, I've got this power washer just mounted right here. It's got a 60-foot hose, so I can reach all the way around this motorhome. I can go all the way around this motorhome. I can get my rock crawlers, all that stuff, power washed before we put it away. It's always so nice to be able to put stuff away clean so that when you go to work on it, all the mud and grease and all like that is all blown out of there.
Hey, Ems, what you got?
Sign.
Sign? You ready to hang it?
Yeah.
All right.
Put it up there. What's that say, Emily?
Mander's monstrosity.
Why does it say monstrosity?
That's what the neighbors call it.
We're gonna roll with it. We're gonna roll with the monstrosity.
Ems, the sign looks really good. A little higher on that side.
This is?
Yeah, right there. It looks good to me. Ems did.
Oh, it's so cool. I like the colors.
Yeah. Pretty cool. Finishing touches.
There you go.
Wow.
There it is, I'm ready.
Yeah.
The monstrosity. At this point, we're near the end of June. I've been really busy working on getting all the electrical done. I've been running, getting new outlets put in, getting extra light switches put in. We'll have a light that'll go up there. I've got all the circuits now down to this other building. I've got outdoor light fixtures. We went with this style of a light fixture. And what's cool, so we got these, and I can cover up the photocell, and the nice thing is every night our lights just come on when it's dark. I love these because we were just leaving a lot of our lights on at night because we like to have light out here. I don't like to have I don't like everything super dark. I like to be able to see if someone's in our backyard or whatever, you know. So we got new light fixtures put in all the way around this building, except for the back. I still got to do the back. Been running new circuits. I now have receptacles back there all the way down this side. Got some more receptacles over here. Got receptacles now all the way down that side. And we're just continuing chipping away, getting all this stuff done. We're starting to be able to use this now. We got chargers and stuff plugged in. I got this new toolbox for Father's Day that's going to be really nice because what we can do is just cart this around the shop to wherever we're working. We set it all up with a full set of tools so that we can just cart it around, and if I'm changing oil on something, I don't have to make 10 trips back and forth. And we're still working on organization. We're not there yet. Been trying to add more shelving and all that sort of stuff, and just one day at a time trying to make this more of a usable shop instead of just constantly working on it. We're getting to the point where we can insulate this inside and then put in the roofing and siding, you know, the ceiling and the siding interior. So we're making some progress, and I'm loving it, loving every step. We've taken a step back from our off-roading and all that kind of stuff to get this shop where we want it, because it'll be so much better in the long run. So over here in our shed, we finished that concrete off. We just did some sackcrete, so this is fully sitting on a slab again. Wired up, I'm not finished with this, but got a light in here now, so wired that up. We're going to be putting in a light and a receptacle out here that we got to put a weatherproof cover on, and just trying to make some progress and try to get all this stuff usable and where we want it. We decided to go with a metal building for a couple reasons. One was value. We ended up getting quotes and researching what it would cost to build a wood frame building this size, and then quotes for the metal building. And The metal building just seemed to get a lot more bang for your buck. You could get a bigger structure for a cheaper price. I also like that they're more fire resistant because, well, metal doesn't burn, unlike wood. You know, when we're welding and grinding, and sparks don't quite seem to have the possibility for the bigger fires. So we live in an HOA, so a project like this is typically going to stir up a little bit of controversy, especially when in your covenants there's a covenant against metal siding and roofs. Now, the state of Colorado implemented a new law recently where HOAs cannot discriminate against fire-hardened materials. So what we did is we took that state law to our HOA, and the HOA then gave it to the Architectural Review Board to vote on. Well, people couldn't really vote against the law because the law was very clear, so the ARB passed it, and the board backed us up. Now, that doesn't mean everybody in the neighborhood accepted it, because there were several people who still weren't happy about it. And, you know, the thing is, we had the law in the HOA on our side, and we just continued to move forward with it. And you're not always going to make people happy, but the truth is we're just ecstatic on how this project came out. We never really moved forward with building a mezzanine because we weren't 100% sure where we wanted everything to go. So we're taking our time and just seeing where everything fits. And what we're doing is, right now it's, we're almost at the end of June, and I've been parking the camper right in the middle so that I can keep my truck in the boat on this other side. And what that does is it makes it super easy for us to go to the lake. All we have to do is just head right out of here, go to the lake for, a nice weekend day or after work, come back in and just put the boat right back where it goes. And keeps it nice and clean in here, keeps it out of the weather and the dirt, and we can wipe it all down, clean everything off. And that's the great thing about having this space, is we can keep all of our stuff out of that weather, because we're in Western Colorado and the sun is really hard on stuff and breaks things down. The wind and the dust and all that other stuff. It is so awesome having this space to be able to work on stuff. I can change the oil easily on the truck without moving stuff around. I can change the oil on the boat, change the oil on this, just all those maintenance things that used to be a huge hassle. Another challenge that we had was to try to figure out where to put a building this size on our lot. We had a lot of things to consider. We had county setbacks, and what that means is like how far we can be from our neighbor's fence line. And where we live, that was 10 feet was the setback from the side of our property. So we couldn't get any closer than that. So that's one of the reasons that this building ended up directly behind our other building, was due to setback concerns. But we also had to make it with a door big enough so to drive down the side of that building and then drive through a door big enough to get this thing in and out of there. So that's one of the reasons that we put it where we did. The building had to be big enough to fit this motorhome and a lot of our other stuff. So that's some of the reasons why we decided on the location, because anywhere else on our property to be attached to this building had to be around this building. In our neighborhood right now, one of the covenants is you can only have one outbuilding, so we had to add on to our existing outbuilding. So that's why we didn't set it somewhere different. There's a few other advantages to that as well, meaning that we already had power running to this building. So my electric panel still had room for 4 more circuits on it. So especially when you're just running lighting circuits and stuff like that, it was no problem. So those are some of the reasons why we decided to add on to our existing building. Now, we like the neighborhood that we live in. We've been here around 8 years, and it's a great neighborhood. A lot of our kids' friends just live nearby. They can run over to each other's houses and play and all that sort of stuff. So we had thought about moving into like a different neighborhood, but the thing is, or just buying property somewhere else. The thing is, this house in neighborhood has gone up tremendously since we moved in here. And so even if we did sell and take the equity and all that stuff out of it, but everything else went up around us as well. So whatever money you make would be quickly absorbed in the higher land prices.
Now, we had always thought, oh, maybe someday we'll buy some land and build a barn dominium on it. With having to run into town all the time and take the kids to sports every day after school and all the running around we do, this place is so convenient because we're 5 miles from town. It's so quick and easy to get into town, but yet we live outside of town and have room around us. So it's another one of the reasons we decided just to stay put where we're at rather than have to move way further out, have more commute time, not have friends and stuff nearby that our kids can play with. Now, one of the big questions people are going to have if they made it this far into the video is, what did this thing cost us? As I know, that's always something that people research, like I did myself. When you go on YouTube or different places, try to research, what's a project like this going to cost you? You know, we live in Colorado. It's not cheap. Things are more expensive around here. Concrete's more expensive. Like, it just seems like everything's more expensive to get around here, because concrete's even quite a bit more expensive here than it is just an hour away in Grand Junction. We had a contractor bid everything for us, so we basically they aligned everything from the permits to the engineering plans to all of that stuff and helped facilitate everything, and the concrete contractors and just all of that. So that was a nice thing about going through this contractor. And if anyone's interested in the contractor, I can put it in the comments down below. They were great to work with and they did a good job. This is what it cost us with the concrete and everything, concrete excavation, all that sort of stuff. And we even added on that little breezeway area, you know, was around $16,000. The building itself was around $28,000. And then you have things like garage doors and all that sort of stuff that you add on to, stamped foundation plans, permits, all that kind of stuff all adds up. And a contractor we worked with was great, helped facilitate all that stuff. So I didn't really have to do much there. So overall, you know, the building, when we're all said and done, just this part of the building was around $80,000. That's the metal building with the garage doors, the big overhang that's outside. That was another change order that we had did. Asked them if they could accompany with us just to get a little bit more room out there. And honestly, in the future, we'll probably enclose that as well, because it wouldn't be that much more, just a little bit more material. I went through my bank account just to look up and see what we spent on that breezeway, on all the wood, all the shingles and all that stuff. And I pulled a report off my bank account for Home Depot and Lowe's, because we have a Lowe's up in Junction we bought the shingles from. And overall, I spent about $5,500 in the last 6 months. And we bought other things at those places, not just this project, but I figure that accompanies most of what we spent to do that breezeway. And that's most that electrical and all the wood, some doors. I mean, that sliding door alone is like $600, and then the shingles and all that stuff was like, you know, $700 or $800, and underlayment and just all those materials that come along with that. Then we also had like all the electrical that we ran in here. So far, I've used about 700 feet between MC cable, the armored cable that I used instead of Romex for in this building. And then I used about 500 feet of that so far, and then about 250 feet of Romex. So I mean, that's already just in that time, you know, 700 plus feet of wiring run in here as well, with all the outlet boxes and stuff. And most of that we ordered on Amazon. For example, these awesome high bay lights that we put in here, those were only $200 on Amazon. I mean, what a great deal. These are so bright. And I checked with my amp meter, because I like to know what the loading is and all that stuff. Just besides the calculations, I ran a 20 amp circuit for that, and these lights are pulling about 10 amps. So they do pull a fair bit for LEDs, but you know, that's only using about half that circuit or less. You know, you want to not take it right up to the max. But anyway, with all that other stuff, I mean, overall, adding up what we spent on Amazon for a lot of the miscellaneous electrical, what we spent at Home Depot and Lowe's and all that stuff was right around $6,000. So, you know, overall, to add on all this building and all that stuff was around $86,000. And when you think about it, what's that get you these days anymore? I mean, a new vehicle is, new trucks and stuff like that are running that high, so everything's more expensive. I know there's always going to be somebody saying, "Oh, I could do that so much cheaper," and I'm sure they could. It's like why I work on vehicles myself, because I can save a lot of money. I do all of our own mechanic work and vehicle maintenance and stuff, and because we save money by doing that. Same thing if you can build buildings and have the resources and time. That's the one thing we don't have. You can save a lot of money. You could buy the building yourself and do it all yourself. So yeah, people can always do it cheaper, but I thought it was a pretty good deal considering the amount of space we added, and what houses now cost in our neighborhood. That's a pretty small it's a pretty small cost for how much extra usable space that we got here. So we're super happy with it and can't wait to get to working on stuff back over there with this new and improved space. So our existing shop is a 24 by 32. So that means it was 768 square feet. Now, the new shop is 50 by 28. That's 1,400 square foot. So then we also have the breezeway, which was 10 by 12. So 120 square foot plus 768 plus 1,400. That's brings us up to 2,200 square, 2,288, 2,288 square feet. Just real quick calculating off the top of my head. So we definitely got a lot more usable square footage. Yeah, it was pretty cool. So gave us so much more space. I mean, even in this existing shop, I mean, I had a lot of room to work, but it was all cluttered. I didn't have anywhere to I didn't have room for shelving and all that sort of stuff, and that kind of clutters everything up. I now have, that's a movable bench, but I now have more room down the sides and more room to free up moving jacks and all that around. Once again, we're not totally organized yet, but we're getting there, and then I can get back to work on these projects. And also, if I enclose back there that 12 by 30, that also adds another 360 square feet of usable storage space. So yeah, I think you can get a lot of bang for your buck out of one of these buildings. So we are getting close to the 4th of July, and life lately has just been a whole lot of sports for the kids, softball, stuff like that. And once in a while we find a little bit of time to go on the lake, a Sunday afternoon or something, do a little bit of boating. And this setup makes it so easy. I can just pull the truck and trailer right in, leave them hooked up for the week, and boom, out we go to the lake for the afternoon. Come back, put it right inside. No dust and dirt, wind, or any of that other stuff. Keeps the sun off everything. And it just makes it so easy, so convenient. Yesterday we used the camper for a kids softball tournament. Just took it down there, left the AC on, had somewhere to get out of the heat for the day, and worked perfect. So this garage is working amazing for our setup and what we do. It just makes everything so much more convenient.
Me and Natalie will watch Bob. She will.
So here's a good idea of what it looks like with nothing in here. Draining the RV right now. But man, it looks so much bigger when it's not all full of stuff. But sure is really nice to come home, be able to pull the RV in, put the truck and boat in here, close it up, call it a night.
Overall, we're really happy with how this project turned out. This gives us a ton more room to work with and keep our stuff out of the weather and out of the neighbor's sight. Everyone would always love to have more space and say, I could always use more space to store my stuff. However, this is a great addition to what we already had. We can do so much more with this. We can also enclose that outside lean-to. That's going to give us a whole lot more space as well. This has been a super fun project, and I can't wait to get to work back in the shop and get back to my project. But this has been one long, 6-month or so project that we need to get finished up.